What can be seen as a potential snub to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the US President Joe Biden will meet the Israeli Prime Minister in New York instead of the White House later this month. The meeting comes after 9 months and amid the US government's repeated disapproval of Netanyahu's many statements and policies, especially the government's judicial overhaul plan. Our correspondent Jody Cohen has more.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is to travel to New York next week to address the UN General Assembly. There's an added plus this time, an invitation to meet President Biden, although the date hasn't yet been made public. It's also not the White House meet he had been hoping for, as in the past. The two leaders, who have known each other for decades, will meet on the UNGA sidelines. But why the delay? Israel and the US are strong allies, and Israeli prime ministers usually visit the White House within the first months of taking office. The Biden administration is said to be concerned about the influence of ultra-nationalist parties in Netanyahu's coalition, and they disagree on policy issues such as settlement expansion in the West Bank, as well as the coalition's plan to rebalance the government and judiciary, which has prompted months of protests in Israel. In July, Biden did finally invite Netanyahu to a meeting, but not before President Herzog, who was granted an Oval Office meeting. Now, there is said to be a follow-up meeting that's going to be scheduled later on in the year, although a senior US official has suggested that this will depend on what happens with the judicial reform. Now, we do know that in the meeting between Biden and Netanyahu, they are expected to discuss the issue of judicial reform. They're also expected to discuss the Palestinians and also the new India, Middle East, Europe corridor that was announced at the G20, as well as the potential for Israel-Saudi normalization. This is Jody Cohen for WION World as One.